So talk me through, I'm really curious, just to kind of stay on the influencer side of your background first. What did your income look like during those, call it 2014 to 2018, like pre Summer Fridays? Where were you making money? What were the sources? And then how did that kind of change over time?
So at that time, you were either a blogger or you were a YouTuber. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people weren't really doing both. And I started really with my Instagram platform and then leveraged that to grow my other platforms. And so at the time, blog was like, I was doing a lot of sponsored blog posts, which is so different now. Now I don't really do sponsored blog posts anymore. I do think
Mm-hmm.
the blog is making a comeback because I think there really are great assets there that you can have to like drive SEO and keyword searches. And so I think there is a benefit to having a blog. But at the time it was blog, sponsored Instagram content, and sponsored YouTube content. Um, like I said at the time, you were either doing one or the other, and the workload was really heavy. And so
Mm-hmm.
a blog post at the time was 5 to 7 images. It was very word heavy. It was a lot of work to just create one blog post. And then
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, it's a lot of work to create video content. So I felt like I was doubled up on the content I was creating. And then at the time, it was like Instagram was just a place to drive traffic to your blog and your YouTube. So you were like repurposing that content on your Instagram account, not necessarily creating content for Instagram first, how it is now. So
Mm-hmm.
it was really different. And so luckily I had a manager. And so I reached out to this place and I was like, hey, I just launched my blog a month ago. I have random like companies messaging me via my Instagram, PayPaling me $50 to post these things. I think there's something here. And they were like, let me take a look at your blog. Let me take a look at your Instagram. And they were like, usually we wouldn't sign people that are so early in this, but like we see a lot of potential here. They ended up signing me and really helped navigate like that first couple years of my career as far as like sponsored content and what I wanted to do and what I wanted to post. And so I always really love luxury and prestige beauty. And that was really like what I think set me apart at the beginning. And so on YouTube at this time, there's a lot of like really glam makeup or like Michelle fan where it's like a look. And for me, it was more like I was buying stuff from Sephora. And I
Yep.
feel like it was really different at the time on YouTube. And so I feel like because I was a little bit older too at that point, I really thought of it as like a business. I was sharing Armani and Laura Mercier and like brands that I still love and work with today.
Mm-hmm.
I have Laura Mercier in my very first YouTube video in 2012, and I did something with them for their translucent setting powder. And I was like, I genuinely like used this many years ago, and I still use it now. So it was just sharing that kind of content. So anyway, the revenue split was Instagram, but it was like a sponsored blog post plus one Instagram post or a sponsored YouTube video plus one Instagram post to like promote the YouTube video, where now I feel like Instagram stories and Instagram feed are first and foremost, and then like the YouTube might be supplemental.
Yeah, that makes sense. YouTube specifically, I feel like has become a pretty big monetization channel for a lot of people. And I know for you, when I look at your content, one of the things I found interesting was that you would have, some videos that would get 30,000 views and some videos that would get 3 million views. So talk me through like how, what was it? Like what was the difference, right, between those? And then I also know that you said you've recently kind of stopped doing YouTube. And what was the thinking behind that?
So, as far as the views, you never really know. Like, if we all could
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of views all the time, we would all be doing it. Or people are comfortable with like clickbait type titles or clickbait type thumbnails. That just wasn't the type of content I was doing. And I feel like YouTube is really great. I think that the reason why a lot of TikTokers are on YouTube is because they're really personality driven. They're like their own reality stars and entertainers, and so I feel like that content translates really well into having YouTube channels. And so I think there is a place for YouTubers. I just felt like who I am personally, that wasn't the best platform for me of like where I wanted to dedicate my time. And as I started adding more jobs onto my plate, I could only do so much. And I felt like something had to give. And the time commitment to YouTube is very time intensive. And you can't delegate a lot of it. It's with the podcast too, is like you're researching the video ahead of time. And, depending how prepared you like to be, if it's a vlog or tutorial, preparing everything and then going through all the footage afterwards and editing it. And I was editing my own videos because I liked knowing exactly what was going into each video, uploading them, the thumbnail, the title. And so I felt like for me, I would rather just focus on Instagram and grow this. And so if I had time, I would do it all. But I just don't. And I feel like it's really hard on YouTube now unless you are an entertainer type personality or you're really adding some sort of value. And I just felt like the value I could add was better suited for other platforms. And so that's fine, and if one day I feel like YouTube is there for me again, like I'll upload. But I personally like there's so many great people on there, and like I feel like it's also suited for like a younger audience now too, and they're growing so fast
Hmm.
that I'm like, I'm going to let them do their thing here. Like, let me win where I can win at.
Yeah, I mean, focus is so critical in terms of success. And I think being really intentional, right? So making those decisions and saying, hey, these are the areas I'm going to focus on right now, right? Because of X, X, and X reason. And I think I would imagine for you too, and this is actually kind of a natural transition, but for you, more and more of your time, I would imagine, is spent on the company, right, and on the brand, and like in a lot of ways, the learnings that you're getting on the podcast that you're doing are probably really helpful to growing the company. And so putting effort there versus YouTube, I think just in terms of where your career is and where your focus is, feels like it makes more sense too.
Yeah, and I think, luckily now with Instagram and Instagram stories and IGTV, I can still give my followers the video content that they want, but it's just on one platform now versus like split up. And I think people's attention span is also very short now. So to be able to give them like a 60-second clip of like a tutorial that like could have taken 15 minutes on YouTube, it's easier for me. I can still give them the video content they want. And so that's where it's like I don't feel like I still need to upload on YouTube, where I can still give you a video tutorial of like what you might have wanted to see on YouTube. Or if you liked watching my vlogs that I used to upload forever ago, I'm basically daily vlogging through Instagram stories now instead.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you thought at all? We didn't talk about this. Have you thought at all about TikTok? What's your thoughts there?
So I have like 100,000 followers on TikTok. I
Yeah.
don't really post frequently. I have one video on there. I don't know, maybe it's like 15 million views or something. Like one went very, very viral. It was like I just opened it, so sound went off. Let me see how many views that one has now. 12 million. I like my biggest video on TikTok has 12 million views. I uploaded it a year and 3 months ago. It still gets views and comments every single day. And that's the thing with TikTok is I've seen the careers of Charlie D'Amelio, Addison Rae, Hiram in beauty, and so Michaela in makeup. And it's like, I see the power that it has. Like when I first started following Michaela on TikTok, she was working at Ulta and she kept going viral, quit her job working at Ulta, and now is like one of the top beauty creators on TikTok, and her
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
she's working with amazing brands that she was buying from Ulta as a retail salesperson. And I think the chance that anyone can go viral on there, like Instagram, it's so much harder to grow. I think TikTok, if you're a new influencer or creator, that is the place to be. And then as a brand, trying to figure out what works for you on TikTok, it's different than Reels. It's the same as in like it's short form video, but it is not the same type of content. So I think you have to have a different strategy for TikTok and a different strategy for Reels, because it's two different platforms. You can't expect the same thing to work on both places. But I also feel like since I'm not like an entertainer, I don't really know for me personally like how I would translate my content to TikTok. And so I upload like every once in a while, and like it's nice to have 100,000 followers on there, but I'm still trying to figure out like what works for me there specifically.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you don't want to. The thing is, all these platforms are actually quite different, and so you really, you should be creating content that's native to that platform and fit for that platform. Versus, you actually can't. I feel like you can repurpose it a little bit, but for the most part, like, the content you create for Instagram stories is going to be different than the content you create for TikTok. Is going to be different than the content you create for YouTube, right? Or for a podcast. Like it's all additive work.